Imagine, if you will, the gentle hush of a Victorian dawn. You are nestled deep within the soft embrace of your bed, the stillness of the early hour a comforting blanket around you. The world outside is still dreaming, but here, within the quiet sanctuary of your room, a new day begins to unfurl with unhurried grace. You can feel the crisp, cool sensation of the starched cotton sheets against your skin, a faint rustle accompanying your slightest movement. They are taut and smooth, pressed with a meticulousness that speaks of quiet order and virtue, even in these private moments before the day truly begins. You can subtly trace the faint, almost imperceptible patterns woven into the cotton, feeling the cool, reassuring texture beneath your fingertips. A distant, muted chime from the local Anglican church steeple drifts through the air, carried on the faintest whisper of a breeze. It's a sound that marks the passage of time without urgency, a gentle affirmation that the world continues its steady turn. This particular church bell has rung out its patient summons for centuries, its tone mellowed by time, a familiar constant. This is your morning symphony, simple and profound. No clamor of bustling children, no urgent demands of a large household, just you, the subtle music of the awakening world, and the quiet promise of the hours stretching before you. As your awareness softly expands, a delicate fragrance greets your senses. It's the faint, comforting scent of lavender sachets, tucked away in drawers and linen presses, subtly perfuming the air. This gentle aroma mingles with the lingering coolness of the night, creating an atmosphere of undisturbed tranquility. The lavender, perhaps, was gathered from your own small garden, dried with care, each tiny bud holding the essence of summer sunshine. You might recall the gentle brushing of your fingers against the dried blossoms as you prepared them, a small act of quiet connection to the natural world. Perhaps you notice the faint, almost imperceptible warmth of a tepid cup of tea from last night, still resting on your bedside table, a testament to a habit of quiet contemplation that extends even into the evening hours. The ceramic cup, cool to the touch, still holds a whisper of yesterday's warmth. Your eyes, still heavy with sleep, might just catch the pale, diffused light of the morning sun as it peeks through the ruffled lace curtains at your window. The lace itself, intricate and delicate, filters the light into soft patterns on the wall, turning the ordinary into something ethereal. The fabric is a delicate lacework, perhaps handmade, each loop and knot a testament to quiet industry. You stretch languidly, your toes flexing against the cool, firm sheets, a small, unhurried motion that signifies the gentle stirring of your own being. Perhaps your cat, who has spent the night curled at the foot of your bed, a silent, furry guardian, now stirs too, offering a soft, contented purr or a slow, blinking gaze. The gentle vibration of the purr resonates softly, a tiny, comforting sound in the quiet air. For a brief, precious moment, you consider the delicious possibility of simply rolling over, pulling the covers closer, and drifting back into the soft folds of sleep. The freedom of this choice, the luxury of lingering in bed until breakfast grows cold again, is a quiet indulgence. You can almost feel the pull of the soft blankets, promising more moments of undisturbed rest. But then, a subtle understanding settles in, a gentle reminder that even in this tranquil existence, Victorian single women, though often overlooked, were rarely permitted the luxury of idleness. The gentle hum of societal expectation, though unspoken, was always present. The distant murmur of daily life, the subtle hum of a world beginning to stir, serves as a soft beckoning. The occasional distant clatter of a milk cart on the cobblestones, the far-off cry of a vendor, these sounds, though faint, softly weave into the quiet tapestry of your morning. hinting at the world beyond your window. The first small decision of the day quietly presents itself to rise and meet the gentle unfoldment of the morning, or to cultivate a rich inner life for a little while longer, whichever you choose. The morning will patiently wait, unhurried and full of its own quiet possibilities. As the decision is gently made to embrace the day, your next step involves a perfectly orchestrated, though entirely solitary, ballet of fabric and fastenings. You slowly make your way to the washstand, a simple piece of furniture upon which rests a pitcher of water, bravely pretending to be sparkling clean, and a bar of soap, worn smooth and thin, a testament to countless quiet ablutions. This bar, perhaps, is as thin as the remaining hope for a spontaneous grand proposal. Yet it serves its purpose with dependable consistency. Its scent is mild, perhaps of a gentle, clean essence, practical and unadorned. The cool ceramic of the basin feels smooth beneath your fingertips as you prepare for your morning cleanse. You cup your hands and splash a bit of water onto your face, a bracing, cool invigorator that serves as a subtle, yet firm, reminder that this house, like many others of its time, does not believe in the extravagance of heated water for morning rituals. The cold splash awakens your senses, clearing away the last vestiges of sleep with a gentle jolt. There is no bubbly, fragrant bath to luxuriate in, no chilled cucumber slices for your eyes, and certainly no spontaneous singing. This is the Victorian era, where hygiene is an eminently practical affair, and overt displays of joy, especially in such mundane moments, are viewed with a degree of suspicion. If you wish to feel a touch of gentle luxury, you might dab a precious drop of rose water behind your ears, hoping its delicate perfume can gently mask any lingering existential contemplation from the night before. The subtle floral note is a private indulgence, a small rebellion in a world of muted tones. Next, you reach for your morning wrapper, a garment designed specifically for the delicate balance of appearing decent before 11 o'clock, without having to admit you've completely surrendered to the day's demands. The fabric is sturdy, perhaps a resilient linen or a substantial cotton chosen for its practicality rather than its flair. Its color, a quiet beige or a muted gray, speaks of understated purpose, blending subtly into the quiet tones of your room. The texture of the fabric is firm, yet comforting against your skin, a familiar weight. The sash, cinching gently at your waist, has undoubtedly seen better decades, its texture softened by countless washes, its purpose steadfastly enduring. Each tie of the sash is a familiar motion, a small anchoring point for the quiet routine of the morning. The challenge of dressing, particularly without the assistance of a lady's maid, is a daily test of dexterity and quiet perseverance. You begin with the chemise, a simple undergarment, slipping it over your head with ease. A moment of gentle acknowledgement that by lunchtime the day's warmth will likely permeate this initial layer. Then come the petticoats. 1, perhaps 2, if the morning chill still lingers in the air, or even 3, if you wish for extra fullness. As they add layers of soft bulk and insulation, each layer adds a gentle fullness, a soft insulation against the world, and a faint, growing sense of being enveloped in carefully constructed layers. The soft rustle of the fabric as you pull it up whispers quietly in the room. You might find yourself quietly understanding why the grand Victorian houses often featured so many fainting couches, a subtle nod to the intricate art of layered dressing. And then, the quiet centerpiece of the morning ritual, the corset. This is less a garment and more a mindful exercise in personal willpower and quiet determination. Without a maid to expertly lace you in, it becomes a solitary dance between you and a labyrinth of tiny eyelets and resilient laces. You perform the quiet, well-practiced maneuver that every single Victorian woman knows: a deep, deliberate breath, a careful reaching back of your arms at an angle never quite recommended by medical professionals. And then, the slow, steady pull. The laces feel firm in your grasp, their texture a subtle reminder of the task at hand. If fortune favors you, the laces might glide smoothly, almost effortlessly, a rare moment of seamless perfection. But more often they will tangle, twist, and perhaps in a moment of quiet exasperation, offer a gentle taunt. You might find yourself wedging a wooden spoon between your back and the sturdy bedpost, a clever ancient trick passed down through generations of determined, slightly breathless women, seeking just a little extra leverage in this daily act of self-containment. The smooth, cool wood of the spoon offers a surprising stability. Once the corset is finally laced, a pause is in order. A moment to quietly assess. Are you still breathing freely? It's not always immediately clear. Your ribs might feel oddly decorative, your waist now belonging to the carefully sculpted silhouette. The sensation of gentle compression, a familiar part of your morning. You remind yourself, with a quiet acceptance, that this is the subtle price of respectability in this structured world. And then comes the next quiet challenge: the myriad layers of a bodice, an overskirt, an underskirt, perhaps a subtle bustle if you wish your silhouette to convey a particular dignified fullness. A silent declaration that you are definitely not hiding snacks back here. Every tiny button, every delicate hook and eye represents a small, almost meditative task. The fabric of each layer feels different beneath your fingers, some smooth, some slightly coarse. As you carefully fumble for the 9th tiny button on your collar, a quiet realization might dawn on you: Victorian fashion, with all its intricate complexity, must surely have been conceived by someone who never had to dress themselves in the quiet solitude of morning. The silence of the room allows you to notice the small sounds of the buttons sliding through their holes. Perhaps this is why so many Victorian portraits of women capture a fleeting expression of quiet contemplation. Almost a subtle, internal stillness. Then, the careful addition of accessories: a modest brooch, secured with a quiet click, gloves, even for indoor wear, because nothing says casual breakfast quite like being prepared for an unexpected audience with the Queen. The soft leather or fabric of the gloves feels cool and smooth as you slip them on. Your hat, perhaps, is secured with a pin that is equal parts decorative and, if mishandled, surprisingly precise, its sharp point a tiny reminder of careful placement. And finally, stockings, fastened with garters that will spend the day in a quiet, subtle negotiation with your legs, either sliding down with a gentle whisper or pressing in with a persistent, almost watchful presence. Shoes, if you can bend gracefully enough to reach them. Complete the ensemble, their leather soft and yielding to your touch. Somewhere in the midst of this measured process, a minor internal moment of quiet challenge is almost guaranteed. A petticoat might twist unexpectedly, its layers feeling cumbersome. A corset string might loop hopelessly, refusing to cooperate, or a sleeve might catch on a doorknob as you attempt a dramatic, albeit silent, exit from your dressing area. There is no one to assist, no voice to reassure. It is just you, your reflection in the mirror, and the creeping, quiet realization that by the time you have finished this intricate dance, it might almost be time to begin the process of undressing again for bed. The silence of the room emphasizes your solitude, yet in it, there is a strange, self-contained strength. And yet, despite this daily intricate circus act, there is a strange, quiet satisfaction in mastering your own layers. Each buckle, each pin, each button meticulously fastened represents a small, personal victory. You emerge from your bedroom, perhaps slightly breathless from the effort of the lacing, but your posture is ramrod straight, every inch the proper Victorian lady. Your body, now encased in its carefully constructed form, feels composed and graceful. If only your cat could truly appreciate the quiet effort you've expended for such an impeccable appearance, observing you with its knowing, calm gaze. As you finally descend to breakfast, you do so with a quiet triumph. You, and only you, have survived the intricate gauntlet of solo dressing. The day ahead may hold its own subtle hazards, its own quiet routines. But at least you know you can face them, enveloped in 12 layers of starched cotton and tightly cinched, quiet optimism. As you finally descend the staircase, your feet softly meeting each step, a quiet rhythm accompanies your passage. The old wood beneath your slippers offers a faint, familiar creak, almost as if the house itself is stirring with you, quietly acknowledging your presence. This gentle sound resonates through the quiet hall, a subtle reminder that in this particular household, you are often the only one with anywhere specific to be, with no bustling family to join at the table, just the tranquil expectation of your solitary meal. You make your way toward the dining room, a space that feels preserved more out of habit than necessity. The air here carries a faint, mingled scent of polished wood and aged linen, a fragrance of quiet permanence. Stepping inside, you notice the immaculate state of the room. The silver gleams with a soft, muted luster, meticulously polished, perhaps by your own steady hands on a previous, equally quiet morning. The tablecloth, starched to a crisp perfection, lies smooth and inviting across the polished surface of the large table, a testament to diligent care. Yet, the most notable absence in this pristine setting is the lively hum of conversation. The very silence in the room seems to amplify the gentle tick-tock of the grandfather clock in the corner, its steady beat echoing a little louder, almost desperately seeking some acknowledgement, some shared sound to break its peaceful monotony. You settle into your designated spot, a solitary chair pulled neatly to a table that could easily seat 12, if only there were ever visitors to fill the vacant places. This spot is your quiet command center for the morning, a place of contemplation and routine. Your breakfast is already waiting for you, placed precisely on the starched linen, covered with a domed lid. This lid offers the faint illusion of surprise, though the reality is always gently predictable. You already know what lies beneath a single, precisely cut slice of bread, often with a whisper of staleness, a sign of careful household management. Then there is the porridge, which, in its steadfast thickness, could indeed legally be classified as a solid, a hearty and unyielding staple. And finally, your tea, brewed to a weakness that borders on being hot water with trust issues. Its delicate amber hue barely hinting at the leaves that gave it flavor. You raise the teacup to your lips, feeling the warmth of the ceramic, and take a gentle sip. The faint, subtle flavor of the weak tea spreads across your tongue, a mild and comforting sensation. You glance toward your quiet companion, the cat, who, with an almost regal air, often leaps onto the nearest vacant chair, settling gracefully. It offers you a steady, observant gaze, a silent acknowledgement of your presence. The soft rustle of its fur as it settles, the occasional slow blink of its eyes. These are the small, cherished interactions of your morning. If by chance you share this grand, quiet house with relatives, a faint, muffled sound might drift from another room, perhaps the rustle of an aunt turning the pages of a devotional book, or the faint scratch of a cousin's pen as she diligently writes yet another letter. But if you live alone, your primary companions are your own thoughts, flowing gently and unhurriedly, and a quiet awareness of the neatly arranged items in your home. Breakfast, in this setting, is less a meal and more a meditative state, a pause in the day punctuated by the faintest, most persistent hope that perhaps today will bring something subtly different. It likely won't, but hope, as you observe, springs eternal like the number of embroidered napkins in your sideboard. You gaze out the window, your eyes tracing the quiet world beginning to stir outside. Carriages rumble faintly in the distance. Delivery boys move with purposeful strides. Yet inside your dining room, time seems to move with a more deliberate, unhurried pace. Every bite of toast is a gentle reminder of how long bread can technically remain edible, if one possesses enough quiet determination and a healthy appreciation for simple sustenance. You might mentally make a note to write to the baker, perhaps to inquire about the freshness of the next loaf. But then, a subtle internal thought reminds you that such a correspondence, in Victorian England, could be misconstrued, requiring a level of engagement far too great for this tranquil hour of the morning. Occasionally, there's the thrilling, albeit subdued, adventure of opening a jar of marmalade. Victorian marmalade, as it was often made, can be an unpredictable substance, part preserve, part hazard, sometimes prone to adhering to your spoon with its sticky, resistant texture. You spread it carefully, with precise, unhurried movements. Perhaps not just for the taste, but for the burst of its vibrant color, a small, bright note against a world that sometimes feels overwhelmingly beige. The tart, sweet aroma fills the air for a brief, delightful moment. And then, of course, there is the newspaper, the Times, folded neatly by the diligent servant, or by your own careful hands if you are both master and staff in one. Contains all the news fit for digestion at this hour. Shipping arrivals, society engagements, presented with a formal brevity, and the latest advice column, the agony column, which you read with a quiet, observant curiosity. You absorb every accidental typo, every small morsel of public detail. For in a single woman's breakfast routine, the gentle unfolding of the agony column can be just as nourishing as the porridge. Sometimes a letter arrives with the morning post, a soft rustle through the letterbox. More often, it doesn't. When it does, it's usually from a married friend, updating you on the latest family news, or with a touch of well-meaning but ill-placed concern, asking, "How are you keeping busy these days?" As if an unmarried life were in itself a full-time occupation. You consider crafting a witty, perhaps subtly ironic reply, but you generally settle for a polite acknowledgement, a carefully chosen phrase that conveys a quiet, composed presence. Even your correspondence is an exercise in Victorian restraint, a subtle dance of words. The cat, having enjoyed its quiet contemplation, finally wanders off in search of its next cozy spot. You are left with the last dregs of tea, now cool, and your own thoughts, slowly drifting. You toy with the idea of making a second cup, but then remember the household economy, the importance of moderation. One mustn't squander the good tea leaves before the afternoon. After all, moderation, you gently remind yourself, is a virtue, especially if one wishes to maintain a quiet, well-ordered life. Breakfast ends as it began, quietly and without ceremony. You collect your plate, stacking it neatly in the scullery, and pause for a moment in the silent kitchen. The day stretches ahead, vast and uncharted, punctuated by more rituals of solitude, small acts of quiet courage, and if you're lucky, a fresh loaf tomorrow. With the gentle conclusion of your breakfast, a new, equally quiet ritual unfolds the perusal of the morning newspaper. This daily arrival, often with a soft thud on the doormat, signals that somewhere in the wider world, events are happening, probably to other people beyond the peaceful confines of your own home. You retrieve it, if you are fortunate enough to do so before your ever-observant cat decides it makes a perfect new sunbathing mat, and then settle into your usual chair, perhaps near a window where the light is clearest. Your tea, now a comforting presence, is in hand, and a quiet anticipation, a gentle curiosity, settles in your heart. The newsprint is often slightly smudgy, the ink faintly perfumed with a subtle, earthy scent. The pages crackle ominously, yet quietly, as you unfold them, each crease and fold revealing new lines of text. You begin, as always, with the front page, your gaze slowly tracing the columns of print. Here, you find reports of political intrigue, detailed accounts of parliamentary discussions, and perhaps news that some foreign duke has caused a stir in Paris, a distant echo of grander, more dramatic lives. You note the price of tea, a practical detail, observing that it is, once again, regrettably up. You absorb all this information with the calm, almost detached composure of a woman whose biggest excitement last week was perhaps the quiet triumph of finding a forgotten toffee in the back of a drawer. You sip your tea, your attention gently shifting, perhaps more interested in the detailed weather forecast. In Victorian times, such forecasts were often a blend of observation and hope, offering a quiet contemplation of potential drizzle or unexpected sunshine, filling your mind with gentle images of the world outside. Next up, your gaze drifts to the society pages where, in the delicate balance of formal announcements, the quiet events of your social circle unfold. You scan the names with a quiet, almost forensic interest, searching for anyone you might know, especially the girls you used to see at dances who are now grandly referred to as Lady So-and-so or Mrs. Surname. Their triumphs are announced in elegant italics, each word carefully chosen. Their quieter moments, if the editors are feeling particularly generous, are discreetly described as taking an extended tour of the continent for her nerves, a polite euphemism for a period of gentle retreat. You linger over the notices of upcoming balls and charity events, feeling a faint, familiar twinge of distant curiosity about the goings-on. You can almost practically hear the distant sound of dance cards being filled with elegant script, the soft rustle of parasols twirling in a sunlit garden party. Somewhere, in a grand, candle-lit room, someone is gracefully waltzing, and it is most certainly not you. You allow yourself a quiet moment to wonder if these waltzers are truly happy, or simply navigating the expected steps of their lives, perhaps making polite small talk about the price of coal. The thought brings a quiet internal smile. Then come the wedding announcements, those cheerful little reminders that someone, somewhere, is waking up this very morning with a new ring on their finger, and a partner who, perhaps, snores quietly. The descriptions are often gloriously detailed. The bride wore a gown of cream silk tastefully adorned with pearls and a serene expression. You try not to make direct comparisons, but you might observe the elaborate lace trim of their gowns versus your serviceable nightcap, their grand homes versus the vibrant state of your geraniums on the windowsill, their blissful nuptials versus your own quiet dreams of undisturbed mornings. If you are feeling particularly contemplative, you venture into the agony column, that dense, fascinating thicket of public yet deeply private confessions. There, in anonymous ink, are all the quiet troubles that were not often spoken of. You might read of a lonely soul seeking companionship, or someone hoping for gentle guidance in matters of the heart, or perhaps a single woman wondering if it's too late to learn Italian and explore distant cities. You read their quiet woes, feeling a subtle sense of connection, Realizing that these unspoken thoughts are shared by many, the advertisements offer a little comic relief, their bold claims a contrast to the measured prose of the news. Hair tonics promising to restore the bloom of youth with the subtle suggestion of vibrant new color. Miracle corsets designed by French physicians, subtly implying elegant shape. And a traveling mesmerist who claims to alleviate heartache, promising peace. You find yourself quietly amused by these claims, imagining the quiet stir they might cause in the village. As you carefully fold the paper, you take a quiet stock of your emotional state. A little curiosity, perhaps, a dash of gentle amusement, a pinch of hope for new adventures, and a quiet sense of contentment with your own calm routine. You set the paper aside, reminded that in the quiet rhythm of Victorian society, being a single woman offers its own unique path, with its own quiet rules and subtle victories. As the morning progresses, perhaps a quiet hour has passed since the newspaper was folded and set aside, its news absorbed into the quiet tapestry of your thoughts. Now, another gentle possibility emerges, one that offers a slightly more personal connection to the world beyond your immediate walls. The arrival of the post. You might hear a faint, distant knock, or perhaps the soft rattle of the letterbox, a sound that, though subtle, holds a quiet weight of anticipation. It's the kind of sound that, in a house like yours, can instantly shift the atmosphere from profound stillness to a gentle, almost imperceptible hum of curiosity. You make your way to the front door, your footsteps hushed on the worn hallway runner. There, nestled on the floor, awaits a small collection of envelopes, perhaps bound with a thin piece of twine, or simply tucked neatly together. You pick them up, feeling the cool, crisp texture of the paper, the distinct weight of each letter. There is a quiet art to deciphering the various shapes and sizes of Victorian mail. A thick, important-looking envelope might indicate a bill, or perhaps a formal invitation. A smaller, more delicate envelope, perhaps adorned with a faint floral motif, often holds a personal note from a friend. As you carry them back to your favorite reading spot, perhaps a worn armchair by a sunlit window, or a cozy nook near the now dying embers in the hearth, you take a moment to examine the handwriting on each. The elegant loops and flourishes of a practiced hand, the slightly shaky script of an older relative, the bold, confident strokes of a business acquaintance. Each style reveals a silent glimpse into the sender. You might notice the specific shade of ink, the quality of the paper, or the subtle impression left by the sender's seal, perhaps a family crest or a delicate monogram. These small details offer silent clues about the sender, connecting you to their world through these tangible remnants. The act of opening a letter is a ritual in itself, a moment of gentle unfolding. You run a fingertip along the sealed edge, feeling the slight resistance of the paper. There's a quiet satisfaction in breaking the seal, a soft tearing sound that marks the gentle reveal of what lies within. As the envelope yields, a faint, mingled scent might escape, perhaps the dry, papery smell of aged correspondence, or the ghost of a perfume, softly lingering. Sometimes a tiny flattened flower or a small unpressed leaf might slip out, a fragile remnant of a distant garden, a quiet memento. You unfold the letter, carefully smoothing the creases, and begin to read. The words, penned in careful script, unfold a narrative from afar. It might be a letter from a married friend, recounting the quiet joys and minor tribulations of family life. You read about a child's first hesitant steps, or the quiet triumph of a perfectly baked scone, or perhaps a gentle anecdote about a favorite pet's antics. These stories, though simple, offer a window into lives that are both similar and subtly different from your own. lives filled with their own quiet routines and small moments of contentment. You trace the words with your eyes, allowing their gentle flow to carry you along. Other letters might bring news from relatives in distant towns or even abroad. An aunt might write about the quiet blossoming of her rose garden, or a cousin might describe the subtle changes in the local landscape, the way the light falls differently in the afternoon, or the new patterns of migrating birds. These descriptions, though seemingly mundane, allow you to visualize places you may not have visited in years, creating a vivid, quiet landscape in your mind. The slow, unhurried pace of the narrative within the letter reflects the measured rhythm of life in those distant places. Sometimes a letter might contain a question about your own quiet endeavors. Are you still enjoying your needlework, or have you found any interesting new books to read? These questions are posed with gentle concern, and you formulate your replies in your mind, crafting careful phrases that convey contentment and thoughtful consideration. The quiet expectation of a reply, the invisible thread connecting your life to theirs, is a reassuring presence. You might encounter a small printed announcement tucked within an envelope, perhaps a notice for a local charity event, or an invitation to a quiet tea party at a neighbor's house. These are not grand social engagements, but rather gentle opportunities for quiet connection, for polite conversation over cups of tea and small, delicate cakes. You mentally file away the date and time, a quiet addition to your unwritten schedule. As you finish reading each letter, you carefully fold it along its original creases, a small act of respect for the sender and their words. You place it neatly into a designated box or drawer, perhaps alongside other letters from the same sender, creating a quiet collection of connections. The physical presence of these letters, their weight and texture, is a comforting reminder that even in your solitary existence, you are part of a wider network of quiet affections and shared histories. This ritual of receiving and reading letters is a grounding experience, a gentle current that flows through your day, connecting you subtly to the wider world without ever interrupting the profound peace of your own quiet domain. The calm rhythm of your solitary morning, punctuated by the rustle of the newspaper and the whisper of letters, is often gently interrupted by a recurring, perfectly predictable event: the visit from your Aunt Eugenia. You can almost anticipate the precise moment of her arrival, a subtle shift in the gentle stillness of the house. Perhaps you hear the distinct, rhythmic clicking of her walking stick on the cobblestones outside, or the crisp rustle of her voluminous silk dress as she makes her way up the garden path. Her visits are not spontaneous bursts of excitement, but rather a structured, almost ceremonial aspect of your week, a quiet moment of connection with societal expectations, wrapped in the guise of familial affection. A faint, polite knock resonates at the front door, a sound that you recognize instantly. You rise from your reading chair, setting aside your finished correspondence, and make your way to greet her. As you open the door, Aunt Eugenia stands there, perfectly coiffed, her dignified presence gently softened by the morning light. Her hat, often adorned with a discreet, finely crafted ornament, seems to convey a quiet presence all on its own. You lead her into the drawing room, a space where the furniture is arranged with a precise formality, mirroring the nature of her visits. The air, already perfumed with the faint scent of old lace and polished wood, now acquires a distinct note of Aunt Eugenia's own personal blend of lavender and quiet purpose. You settle into the familiar routine, offering her tea, a delicate cup of fragrant, mild tea, and a plate of plain, unadorned biscuits. The gentle clinking of the porcelain teacups, the soft scrape of the spoon against the saucer. These are the small, polite sounds that fill the silence between her gentle inquiries. And how are we keeping, my dear, she begins, her voice a gentle modulated hum that always seems to imply quiet observation. You offer a polite, non-committal answer, a practiced response that allows for pleasantries without inviting deeper scrutiny. Your answers are brief and composed, offering just enough information to satisfy, but never enough to truly deviate from the calm. You pour her tea, watching the faint swirl of the milk as it blends with the mild amber liquid, a quiet, almost meditative act. Then, inevitably, comes the turning point of the conversation, the quiet pivot around which all of Aunt Eugenia's visits revolve. "Any news, my dear?" she will inquire, her eyes sparkling with an almost mischievous, yet entirely well-meaning glint. This question is, of course, a euphemism, a polite societal code for inquiring about your prospects. You offer a carefully crafted reply, perhaps something about the quiet progress of your needlework, or the latest novel you've been engrossed in, or the unexpected vigor of your window box geraniums. These are your quiet observations, presented as gently as possible. Aunt Eugenia will nod, her expression a careful blend of gentle understanding and subtle consideration. She might then launch into a well-rehearsed monologue about the advantages of a good match, recounting tales of friends' daughters who have made excellent choices and are now happily tending to their households. You listen with quiet patience, sipping your tea, observing the dust motes dancing in the sunlight, finding a quiet beauty in their unhurried movement. Her words, though repetitive, are not delivered with malice, but with a deep-seated conviction that certain paths are simply the expected course for a woman of your age. Sometimes she will bring up the fate of various gentlemen in the neighborhood, detailing their perceived attributes with a quiet precision, almost as if she is personally auditing their suitability. "Young Mr. Thompson, you know, has excellent prospects, but such a delicate constitution, one simply couldn't risk it. Could one?" she might muse, her voice a soft, sympathetic murmur. You nod politely, allowing her words to drift past you like distant clouds, finding their rhythm almost soothing in its predictability. The conversation eventually, mercifully, circles back to gentler topics, the quality of the local butter, the unpredictable spring weather, or the latest developments in her own garden, where she is engaged in a quiet effort against pests. These moments offer a subtle reprieve, a chance to genuinely engage in conversation about mundane, reassuringly calm subjects. You might share a quiet observation about the scent of rain or the particular shade of green on the new leaves, finding common ground in these small but sensory details. As the hour draws to a close, Aunt Eugenia will finally rise, her silk dress rustling like dry leaves. She will offer a final, lingering look, a quiet assessment that is understood without a single word. "Do keep well, my dear," she will say, her voice softening. "And do let me know if there's any news, any significant news." You offer a polite smile, a gentle nod, and see her to the door. As the front door closes behind her with a soft click, the silence that settles back into the house feels deeper, richer, almost palpable in its comforting presence. You return to your quiet armchair, the scent of lavender and polished wood once again gently dominant, the soft hum of the grandfather clock a reassuring constant. The quiet confrontation is over, and the tranquil flow of your day resumes undisturbed once more. With the quiet departure of Aunt Eugenia, the house settles back into its familiar rhythm, a soft, almost imperceptible hum of tranquility. Now, the morning truly belongs to you, to the gentle pursuits that fill your hours with quiet purpose and serene contemplation. This is your time for the domestic arts, those subtle skills that, in a Victorian home, are not merely chores but acts of quiet creation, weaving threads of order and beauty into the fabric of daily life. You might find yourself drawn to the drawing room once more, perhaps to sit by the large window where the morning light, now brighter and clearer, illuminates your chosen task. In your lap rests a piece of needlework, perhaps an intricate sampler with tiny, precise stitches, or a delicate lace doily slowly taking shape under your deft fingers. The feel of the fine linen or cotton fabric is soft and pliable, yielding gently to the needle. You thread the needle with a slender strand of silk or cotton, feeling the smooth, cool texture against your fingertips. The rhythm of your stitching is calm and steady in, out, pull. Each stitch is a small, deliberate act, a tiny contribution to a larger pattern. The process is meditative, allowing your mind to drift gently, unburdened by haste or external demands. Perhaps you're working on an embroidery piece, creating a vibrant floral motif that brings a splash of color to a muted cushion cover, or carefully mending a tear in a beloved garment, transforming a flaw into an almost invisible testament to careful mending. The subtle sheen of the silk thread, the earthy smell of the linen, the soft sound of the needle passing through fabric, these sensory details create a cocoon of peaceful concentration. A homemaker's guide from that era might advise on the virtues of such quiet industry, suggesting that a well-maintained household reflects a well-ordered mind. You are, in essence, quietly upholding these Victorian virtues, one stitch at a time. Or perhaps your chosen quiet pursuit is the art of watercolors. You set up your small portable easel near the window, arranging your paints in neat, inviting rouse, the vibrant cerulean, the deep emerald, the earthy ochre, the brushes, soft and pliant, feel familiar in your hand. You dip a brush into the clear water, watching the liquid bead and cling to the bristles, then touch it to a block of solid pigment. The color blooms instantly, spreading in a soft, ethereal cloud, infusing the water with its essence. You watch the pigment dissolve, a small, delightful transformation. The clean, slightly metallic scent of the watercolors mingles with the faint aroma of the paper, a crisp, subtle fragrance. You begin to paint, perhaps a small, humble still life of a potted fern on your windowsill, or a quiet landscape viewed from your window, the distant rolling hills, the gentle curve of the lane, the soft forms of trees. The brush glides smoothly over the paper, leaving behind translucent washes of color. You carefully blend one shade into another, watching the gentle diffusion of pigment, the way colors merge and soften. There is no pressure for perfection, only the quiet joy of creation. The serene focus on the delicate interplay of light and shadow, the subtle variations in hue. Each stroke is a breath, each wash a moment of gentle release. The painting slowly emerges, a quiet reflection of your internal world. Beyond the structured beauty of needlework or the flowing artistry of watercolors, your morning might also be dedicated to the quiet companionship of books. You move to your small personal library, a room filled with the comforting scent of aged paper and leather-bound volumes. The shelves, neatly arranged, hold a treasury of quiet wisdom and imaginative journeys. You trace the spines of the books with a fingertip, feeling the texture of the worn leather, the subtle indentation of gilded titles. Each book holds a promise of escape, a silent invitation to explore other worlds and other lives, all from the comfort of your quiet home. You select a volume, perhaps a collection of thoughtful essays, a gentle book of poetry, or a historical account of a distant, tranquil civilization. You settle into your favorite reading chair, the soft cushion molding to your form, and open the book. The pages whisper softly as you turn them, the printed words a comforting presence. You read slowly, allowing the language to wash over you, absorbing the thoughts and ideas at a measured pace. There is no rush to finish, no urgent deadline, only the quiet pleasure of discovery, the gentle unfolding of new perspectives. The quiet narrative within the book becomes your world, and the sounds of your own home fade into a soft, distant hum. Sometimes your quiet leisure might involve a gentle stroll through your garden, if you are fortunate enough to have one. The morning air, now warmer and perhaps carrying the scent of damp earth and blooming flowers, invigorates your senses. You wander along the gravel paths, your slippers making a soft, rhythmic crunching sound, pausing to examine a delicate rosebud unfurling its petals, or to marvel at the intricate pattern of a spider web glistening with dew. The colors of the flowers, the soft pinks, the deep blues, the vibrant greens are a quiet feast for the eyes. You might gently prune a stray branch, feeling the subtle resistance of the wood beneath your gardening shears, or simply stand and listen to the soft buzz of bees, the distant chirping of birds. These are moments of calm connection with the natural world. Small acts of cultivation that mirror the gentle tending of your own inner landscape. These quiet pursuits fill your morning hours, not with bustling activity, but with a deep sense of contentment and purpose. They are acts of self-care, ways of nurturing your mind and spirit in the quiet solitude of your independent life. The gentle hum of industry, whether it's the calm rhythm of stitching, the delicate wash of a paintbrush, or the silent absorption of words on a page, creates a tranquil sanctuary, a haven of peace in the heart of your Victorian home. The sun may continue its gentle arc across the sky, but for these precious hours, time seems to stretch and expand, allowing you to fully immerse yourself in the quiet beauty of these cherished endeavors. As the morning drifts towards its midpoint, a subtle shift occurs in your quiet routine. The time for purely contemplative pursuits gently recedes, making way for the necessary practicalities of managing a Victorian household. Even for a single woman, running a home, no matter its size, involves a meticulous attention to detail, a quiet ballet of organization and foresight. This is not the grand, bustling management of a large estate with dozens of servants, but rather the precise, careful oversight of a smaller, more intimate domain, where every small decision contributes to the overall order and tranquility. You might begin your practical rounds in the kitchen, a space that, even when quiet, always carries the faint, comforting sense of previous meals, perhaps a hint of baked bread, or the subtle aroma of roasted vegetables. You might inspect the pantry, ensuring that all staples are in their proper place. Your fingers trace the cool, smooth surface of tin canisters, sensing the diminishing levels of flour, sugar, and dried beans. You note any needs, a mental list forming with quiet precision. The shelves are neatly arranged, each jar and container labeled with a careful, legible hand, a sign of thoughtful organization. A Victorian homemaker's manual, perhaps one titled The Art of Domestic Economy, would certainly praise such meticulous inventory practices. Next, your attention might turn to the household accounts. You retrieve your ledger from a designated drawer, a heavy, leather-bound book with crisp, lined pages. The smell of ink and old paper fills the air as you open it. With a sharpened pencil, you begin to carefully record expenditures: the cost of coal for the fires, the small allowance for fresh milk and butter, the occasional expense for thread or new candles. Each entry is a small act of precision, a quiet reflection of your prudent management. You balance the columns, ensuring that every shilling and pence is accounted for, a comforting sense of order settling over you as the numbers align. There is a quiet satisfaction in this detailed work, a feeling of gentle control over your financial world. Perhaps a more immediate task presents itself: the replenishing of coal for the fires. You might make your way to the scullery or a small coal shed outside, carrying a sturdy bucket. The air here is cooler, with the earthy mineral scent of coal dust. You carefully scoop the lumps of coal, feeling their rough, cool weight in the bucket, listening to the soft scrape as they settle. This is a quiet, physical task, a brief interlude of gentle effort. You carry the bucket back, the faint rattle of the coal a rhythmic accompaniment, and carefully replenish the embers in the drawing room hearth, watching the small, glowing coals settle with a faint, whispering hiss. The warmth radiating outwards is a soothing, comforting presence. The maintenance of linens is another quiet practicality. You might move to a linen press, running your hand over stacks of freshly laundered sheets, their crispness a testament to careful washing and pressing. You inspect tablecloths for any stray stains or loose threads, mentally noting which ones require attention. The subtle scent of lye soap and fresh air still lingers on the fabric, a clean, reassuring aroma. Perhaps you spend a few moments folding a particularly stubborn bedsheet, aligning its corners with quiet determination, ensuring each fold is sharp and precise, preparing it for its next quiet use. Even the simple act of dusting takes on a meditative quality. You retrieve a soft, clean cloth from a drawer, feeling its gentle texture against your palm. You move slowly through the rooms, your movements unhurried, tracing the contours of furniture, wiping away the lightest layer of dust. The quiet whisper of the cloth against polished wood, the glint of light on a newly cleaned surface, these small details contribute to the overall sense of order and calm. You might pause to carefully dust a delicate ceramic figurine, feeling its cool, smooth surface, ensuring every intricate detail is spotless. If you have a small, cherished collection of books or curios, you might spend a moment carefully tending to them. You gently pull a book from its shelf, brushing away any dust, carefully inspecting its spine for signs of wear. Perhaps you rearrange a small cluster of porcelain trinkets, ensuring they are perfectly spaced, catching the light in a particular way. This is not merely cleaning, but a quiet act of appreciation, a gentle interaction with the objects that populate your personal space, each one holding its own gentle history. These practical tasks, though seemingly mundane, are deeply satisfying. They are acts of quiet stewardship, a way of tending to the small details that create a harmonious living environment. There is a sense of accomplishment in seeing your household in good order, a calm reassurance that everything is precisely as it should be. This quiet management provides a stable foundation for your day, allowing your mind to remain unburdened, free to wander through more contemplative realms when the time for such practicalities has gently passed. You move through these duties with a calm efficiency, a woman in quiet command of her serene Victorian world. As the quiet hum of your household duties begins to recede, and the midday sun casts longer, softer shadows across your rooms, a new cherished ritual approaches afternoon tea. This is a gentle pause in the day's unhurried rhythm, a moment to fully savor tranquility and perhaps, if you choose, to share a quiet, refined conversation. Even when you are alone, the preparation for tea is a delightful ceremony in itself, an anticipation of subtle pleasures. The very air in the house seems to soften, infused with the promise of warmth and gentle indulgence. You might begin your preparations by making your way to the kitchen, a space that, even when quiet, always carries faint, pleasant echoes of the morning's baking. Perhaps the lingering sweetness of a forgotten crumb or the subtle aroma of dried herbs. You reach for the tea caddy, often an exquisitely crafted box of polished wood, perhaps inlaid with mother-of-pearl or painted with delicate floral motifs. Its cool, smooth surface feels familiar beneath your fingertips, a comforting weight that speaks of tradition and careful keeping. As you lift the lid, a rich, earthy aroma of dried tea leaves gently escapes, a comforting fragrance that promises warmth and serenity. You carefully measure out the leaves, perhaps a fragrant blend known for its soothing qualities, into the silver tea infuser, feeling the slight weight of the fine metal. The delicate click of the caddy's lid as it settles back into place is a soft, satisfying sound, a tiny punctuation marking the beginning of this delightful interlude. The kettle, perhaps a gleaming copper vessel burnished to a soft luster, is then placed upon the hob. You fill it with fresh, clear water, drawn from the tap with a gentle gurgle, each drop a pure, unblemished promise. A soft, steady hiss soon begins, a low whisper that gradually increases in volume, building to a gentle crescendo until a soft, rolling boil is achieved. The steam gently curls upwards, forming delicate wisps that dance in the air, carrying a faint, clean scent of heated water, a signal that the moment for brewing is perfectly nigh. You carefully warm the teapot, a beautiful porcelain piece, perhaps adorned with tiny kun, hand-painted sprigs of lavender or delicate roses, their fragile beauty rendered in soft hues. The warmth of the porcelain spreads through your hands, a comforting sensation, preparing the pot to perfectly receive the hot water and the fragrant leaves. You then pour the steaming water over the tea leaves in the infuser, watching as the liquid quickly transforms into a deep, rich amber. The aroma intensifies, blooming into a comforting cloud that fills the kitchen with its warmth, a fragrant invitation to pause. A Victorian guide to household management, perhaps a well-thumbed volume titled Domestic Duties for the Gentlewoman, might emphasize the importance of perfectly brewed tea, noting that the proper infusion of the leaf is the cornerstone of a civilized afternoon, bringing both solace and gentle stimulation. You allow the tea to steep for just the right amount of time, a careful balance between strength and subtlety, ensuring that each sip will offer a moment of quiet bliss. Neither too strong nor too weak, but simply perfect. As the tea brews, filling the air with its inviting scent, you turn your attention to the accompanying treats. Perhaps you have prepared a small plate of biscuits, simple and crisp, their golden brown edges hinting at a delicate sweetness, or delicate finger sandwiches cut with precision, holding a whisper of cool cucumber or fresh cress, their subtle flavors a gentle complement to the tea. The feel of the fine china plates beneath your fingers is smooth and cool, their elegant rims subtly gilded. You arrange the delicacies with a quiet precision, ensuring each item is perfectly placed, an aesthetic offering as much as a culinary one. The gentle clinking of the porcelain teacups and saucers as you set them out creates a delicate soundscape of preparation, soft and harmonious. You might even select a freshly laundered linen napkin, feeling its crisp, clean texture as you fold it neatly beside each cup. A small touch of refined elegance, a testament to careful housekeeping. You then carry the laden tray, the teapot steaming gently, its warmth radiating outwards, the cups gleaming with a soft luster, the small plates of food invitingly arranged to the drawing room or a sunny conservatory. You place the tray carefully on a low table, perhaps beside your favorite reading chair, where the light falls just right. The scent of fresh tea mingles with the subtle aroma of the biscuits, creating an atmosphere of gentle indulgence, a welcoming embrace for your senses. You settle back into your chair, feeling the soft cushion embrace you, molding to your form, and pour your first cup. The steam curls upwards, carrying the inviting scent directly to you, a warm, fragrant offering. The first sip of tea is a moment of pure, quiet pleasure. The warmth spreads through you, a gentle current that flows from your lips to your very core, and the delicate flavor unfurls on your tongue, leaving a subtle, lingering aftertaste. You take your time, allowing the warmth and the gentle flavor to soothe you, to dissolve any lingering trace of thought or concern. You might nibble on a biscuit, feeling its crisp texture yield to a soft crumb, or savor a tiny sandwich, appreciating its light, refreshing taste. This is a time to simply be, to observe the gentle play of light and shadow on the walls, to listen to the soft sounds of the house, to allow your thoughts to drift in and out like soft evening mist. There is no urgency here, no pressing demand, only the steady, comforting presence of the afternoon, a quiet expanse of time dedicated solely to gentle repose and reflection. Occasionally, you might receive a visitor for tea, perhaps a close friend whose quiet companionship you genuinely enjoy, or a relative with whom you share a comfortable silence. Their arrival would be met with a similar gentle ceremony, the polite murmur of greetings, the soft rustle of their attire as they settle. The quiet conversation would then flow as smoothly as the tea from the pot, a gentle exchange of thoughts and observations. You might discuss the latest book you've read, sharing quiet insights, or the blooming of a rare flower in your garden, detailing its subtle beauty. Perhaps you would recall a gentle anecdote about a shared memory, a quiet ripple of amusement passing through the room. These conversations are not filled with grand pronouncements or dramatic revelations, but with quiet exchanges of thoughts and feelings, weaving a subtle tapestry of connection that strengthens with each shared moment, whether alone or with a cherished companion. Afternoon tea is a sacred ritual, a quiet affirmation of contentment and gentle presence in the heart of your Victorian day, a pause that recharges your spirit for the quiet evening ahead. As the afternoon light begins its slow, golden fade, casting long, ethereal shadows across the garden and into your rooms, the day gently transitions towards its close. The vibrant clarity of morning gives way to a softer, more reflective atmosphere, as if the very air is growing calmer, settling into a deeper peace. This is the time for evening preparations, not with a sense of urgency or hurriedness, but with a quiet, deliberate pace, a winding down that mirrors the gradual descent of the sun below the horizon. Each action is infused with a sense of calm purpose, preparing your home and yourself for the peaceful embrace of night, for the deep and restorative quietude that awaits. You might begin by attending to the lamps, as the natural light diminishes, fading to a soft twilight. The gentle glow of lamplight becomes essential, transforming the house into a warm, inviting haven, a beacon of cozy comfort. You make your way to each lamp, often crafted from gleaming brass, now softly lustrous, or delicate porcelain adorned with intricate patterns, and carefully trim its wick. Your fingers, accustomed to the task, move with a practiced ease, their movements smooth and precise. The faint scent of lamp oil, a slightly earthy metallic aroma, briefly fills the air, a familiar and grounding fragrance. You then light each wick, striking a match with a soft scrape, watching as a small, steady flame flickers into life, then grows, casting a gentle radiating warmth and a soft golden light that gradually pushes back the encroaching shadows into the corners of the room. The quiet hiss of the burning wick, the subtle shifting of the flame. These are the only sounds as the rooms slowly fill with a comforting glow, transforming them into sanctuaries of peace. The curtains are then drawn, a gentle act of enclosing your space, creating a sense of privacy and warmth against the increasing coolness of the evening air. You move from window to window, feeling the heavy, luxurious fabric glide smoothly through your fingers as you pull it across the panes. The soft rustle of the material, like a gentle sigh. The faint clinking of the curtain rings against their rod. These sounds accompany your movements, completing the transformation of the rooms from sunlit, open spaces to cozy, lamplit sanctuaries, providing a gentle barrier from the outside world. The drawn curtains also serve as a quiet boundary, inviting a deeper sense of introspection and personal quiet. Perhaps you then turn your attention to preparing a light, simple supper. This is not a grand multi-course affair, but rather a comforting, easily digestible meal designed to soothe and nourish without overwhelming the senses before sleep. You might prepare a delicate consommé, feeling the gentle warmth of the broth as you stir it with a silver spoon, or perhaps a small, perfectly poached fish, its flaky texture a quiet pleasure on the tongue. The subtle aromas of herbs and simmering ingredients mingle in the kitchen, a quiet promise of gentle sustenance, a prelude to rest. The sounds are soft and measured, the gentle clinking of a single spoon against a bowl, the quiet scrape of a knife on a cutting board, the low, murmuring simmer of water on the hob, all contributing to a peaceful culinary moment. You take your supper in the quiet solitude of your dining room, the lamplight casting a soft glow on the polished table. Or perhaps, for a change of atmosphere, by the warmth of the drawing-room fire, if its embers have been stoked once more. Sending out gentle heat, each bite is savored, each sip of water or diluted wine is taken with a quiet appreciation, a moment of mindful nourishment. This is a time for thoughtful quiet, a gentle act of self-care before the day fully concludes. There are no distractions, only the quiet rhythm of your own presence and the comforting crackle of the fire, if it is lit, a steady companion in the gathering darkness. As darkness fully settles, you might retreat to your study or a quiet nook, a space dedicated to evening reflection and quiet pursuits. The air in this room often carries the faint, dry scent of old paper and leather, a comforting scholarly aroma. You might spend a short time reviewing your correspondence, perhaps drafting a reply to a letter received earlier in the day, formulating your thoughts with graceful precision. The feel of the smooth, unblemished writing paper beneath your hand, the gentle scratch of the quill or pen as it glides across the page. These are the quiet tools of your evening communication, each stroke a deliberate mark in the stillness. You choose your words with care, composing elegant phrases that convey your thoughts with thoughtful consideration. A silent conversation across the miles. Or perhaps your evening ritual involves the quiet contemplation of your memoirs or a personal journal. You retrieve a leather-bound volume from a hidden drawer, its pages filled with your own careful script, a chronicle of your days. The scent of your own ink, subtly different from the letters you receive, fills the air as you open it. You read a passage or two, allowing your own past thoughts and observations to gently wash over you. A quiet communion with your own history, a reminder of moments long past. Or you might add a new entry, carefully documenting the quiet events and subtle reflections of the day that is now drawing to a close, preserving its essence in ink. This is a deeply personal act of reflection, a way of processing the quiet moments and insights gained throughout your serene day, laying them down to rest. Finally, as the last vestiges of activity fade and the house settles into its profound nighttime stillness, you begin the gentle process of preparing for bed. You might brush your hair with a soft, rhythmic motion, feeling the gentle pull of the bristles, a soothing sensation that prepares you for rest. You make your way to your dressing table, where the soft lamplight casts a warm glow on your reflection, illuminating your features with a quiet tenderness. You cleanse your face with cool, refreshing water, feeling its gentle touch on your skin, washing away the day's subtle dust. The faint scent of lavender soap, if you use it, adds to the sense of calm, a fragrance that whispers of peace. You then slip into your nightclothes, feeling the soft, worn cotton or linen against your skin, a comforting embrace that signals the end of the day. You might pause by the window for a final moment, gazing out into the deep, quiet darkness where the stars, perhaps, are just beginning to faintly glimmer, pinpricks of light in the vast expanse. The world outside is hushed, settling into its own nocturnal peace, a mirror to the quietude within. You then make your way to your bed, pulling back the covers with a soft rustle, feeling the cool crispness of the sheets against your legs. As you lie down, the soft pillow cradles your head, molding to its shape, and the warmth of the blanket settles around you, a comforting weight. The last sound you hear might be the distant rhythmic ticking of a clock, a steady heartbeat in the silence, or the soft breath of your own quiet being. As you drift into the gentle embrace of sleep, your day, filled with quiet rituals and serene moments, has come to its peaceful, unhurried close. As the last whisper of the day fades into the profound stillness of your Victorian home, and the world outside settles into its own deep, quiet slumber, you find yourself fully enveloped in the peaceful embrace of night. This is a time not just for rest, but for gentle restoration, a profound stillness that allows the mind and body to unwind completely, releasing all the accumulated energies and impressions of the day. The cool, crisp air of the evening, perhaps carrying the faint scent of damp earth or distant night-blooming jasmine from the garden, drifts through any slightly open window. It's a gentle breath that cools your rooms, carrying with it the fresh promise of the nocturnal world. You are now in your bedchamber, a sanctuary of comfort and quietude, a room designed for serene repose. The heavy curtains are drawn, providing a soft, dark cocoon against the outside world, effectively muting any sounds or lights that might attempt to intrude. The only illumination now comes from the soft moonlit glow that might filter through a tiny gap where the curtains meet, casting a slender silver line across the floor. Or perhaps you see the faint distant shimmer of gaslight from a far-off street, reduced to a mere pinprick of light, almost like a distant star. The air within the room is still and hushed, carrying only the faint, comforting scent of polished wood from the antique furniture, of clean linen from the freshly made bed, and perhaps a subtle hint of lavender from the sachet tucked beneath your pillow, releasing its calming fragrance into the quiet space. The silence is not empty, but rich, a deep well of peace that cradles you, a profound quiet that invites introspection and rest. You lie nestled within your bed, the soft mattress yielding gently to your form, supporting every curve and contour of your body. The smooth, cool sheets, freshly laundered with a delicate soap, feel exquisite against your skin, a sensation of crisp purity and comforting freshness. You pull the blankets up to your chin, feeling their comforting weight settle over you, a gentle pressure that seems to whisper of safety and warmth, creating a secure embrace around your sleeping form. The pillow, soft and pliant, cradles your head with just the right amount of firmness, allowing your neck to fully relax, releasing any lingering tension from the day, inviting your thoughts to soften and dissipate. You might shift slightly, a small, almost imperceptible movement, finding that perfect position where every limb feels entirely supported, entirely at ease, completely comfortable for the long hours of slumber ahead. Your breathing deepens, naturally becoming slow and even, a steady rhythmic ebb and flow. Each inhale is a quiet drawing in of peace, a breath of pure tranquility. Each exhale is a soft release of any lingering thought or concern, a gentle letting go of the day's trivialities. You feel the gentle rise and fall of your chest, a steady, rhythmic motion that mirrors the quiet, reliable tick of the grandfather clock in the hall. Now a faint, almost imperceptible heartbeat in the profound stillness of the house. Your muscles, one by one, seem to melt into the mattress, becoming heavy and pliant, no longer needing to hold themselves upright, surrendering to the pull of gravity and the promise of rest. The very essence of tension seems to drain away, leaving behind only a profound sense of ease. As your body drifts deeper into repose, a state of profound physical relaxation, your mind begins its own gentle descent into the realm of unconsciousness. The events of the day, once clear and detailed, now soften at their edges, blurring into indistinct memories like brushstrokes on a watercolor painting that merge and diffuse. The gentle clinking of a teacup, the soft rustle of a letter, the quiet hum of household tasks. These images might drift across your internal vision, but they are no longer sharp or demanding. They are simply faint echoes, gently dissolving as you move closer to the threshold of sleep, becoming less and less significant. Any thoughts about tomorrow, about errands or appointments, quietly recede, leaving your mind a clear, unburdened space. You feel a profound sense of safety and security. Your home, this solid, quiet Victorian house, is your sanctuary, a steadfast guardian against the uncertainties of the world. Its thick walls and sturdy construction stand as a gentle barrier against the vastness of the night, absorbing any distant sounds, cushioning you in perfect peace. The heavy oak doors, the secure window latches all contribute to this feeling of complete enclosure and protection. You are sheltered, warm, and perfectly undisturbed. There is nothing left to do, nowhere left to be. All duties are complete, all preparations made for the coming morning. This feeling of complete freedom from responsibility, even for a few hours, is immensely liberating, allowing your mind to truly surrender to rest, knowing that all is well, all is in its proper place. As you linger on this threshold, suspended between wakefulness and slumber, you might begin to experience the first soft stirrings of dreams. These are not vivid, startling narratives, but rather gentle, ethereal impressions, like faint whispers carried on a soft breeze. Perhaps you see soft, swirling colors, like the watercolors you painted earlier in the day, bleeding into one another on a silent canvas behind your closed eyes, forming abstract, calming patterns. Or you might hear faint melodic notes like a distant, half-remembered lullaby weaving through the stillness of your mind, a soothing melody without a clear source. There are no sharp edges, no jarring sounds, only soft, unfolding imagery and murmuring echoes that gently guide you deeper into slumber. Sometimes your dreams might drift into familiar, comforting scenes from your day, but transformed, imbued with a tranquil, almost magical quality. You might revisit your garden, but the roses bloom in impossible, iridescent hues, their petals shimmering with an inner light, and the air shimmers with an unseen, benevolent glow. Or you might see the familiar drawing room, but the lamplight glows with an otherworldly warmth, illuminating dust motes that dance like tiny silent stars in the golden beams. These are not dreams with a complex plot or a dramatic narrative, but rather pure sensory experiences, quiet, vivid impressions that soothe and relax rather than excite, guiding you into a deeper, more profound state of rest. These gentle visions are like quiet gifts, enriching your unconscious mind. You feel yourself sinking deeper, ever deeper into the softness of the mattress, into the profound quietude of the room. The last remnants of conscious thought gently detach and drift away, like leaves released from a branch, floating silently into the vast dark ocean of sleep. No longer tethered to the waking world, you are completely still, completely peaceful, completely at rest. Your awareness of your body softens, your breath continues its deep, steady rhythm, and the world outside softens into an indistinct hum for you. The gentle restoration of the night has begun, an unhurried process that nourishes your being from its deepest core, preparing you for the quiet joys of a new dawn. Slowly, imperceptibly, as the deepest hours of night yield to the very first tentative stirring of a new day, you begin your gentle ascent from the profound depths of sleep. This awakening is not abrupt or jarring. There is no alarm, no sudden demand for your attention, and instead, it is a slow, unhurried unfurling, a soft return to the conscious world, as gradual and quiet as the sun's first, hesitant rays piercing the pre-dawn gloom. Your mind softly stirs, gently drawing itself back from the restful void. You become aware first of the profound stillness, a deep, resonant silence that holds the room, a silence that feels both ancient and comforting. The air is cool and fresh, carrying the faint, clean scent of the receding night, perhaps a hint of ozone or damp earth from outside. You might feel the soft, steady rhythm of your own breath, a gentle, comforting reminder of your presence in this serene space. Your body, deeply rested, feels light and refreshed, unburdened by the weariness of the previous day, ready for the new hours ahead. The warmth of the blankets, still settled gently around you, is a comforting presence, a final lingering embrace of the night's peaceful slumber. Before you fully emerge, a faint, almost imperceptible lightening might occur at the edge of your drawn curtains, a subtle hint that the sun is beginning its slow, majestic ascent. This is the pre-dawn light, a soft, pearlescent glow that promises the imminent arrival of morning without revealing its full vibrancy. It paints the edges of the room in hues of soft gray and pale lavender, infusing the space with a gentle, ethereal quality. You might hear the very first tentative chirping of a distant bird, a solitary note breaking the profound stillness, quickly finding companionship, until a soft, nascent chorus begins to swell outside your window, a quiet symphony of awakening nature. You linger in this peaceful state, neither fully asleep nor fully awake, suspended in a beautiful liminal space, a perfect pause before the day's gentle progression. There is no urge to rush, no need to immediately engage with the day's demands. This is a moment for quiet contemplation, for simply existing in the gentle ebb and flow of time, appreciating the profound stillness. You allow your mind to slowly reorient itself, gently gathering the threads of consciousness, recalling memories without effort. Perhaps a soft, pleasant dream, its details now almost entirely forgotten, leaves behind a lingering sense of peace, a warm glow in your waking mind, like the last embers of a comforting fire. Slowly, with deliberate grace, you begin to stretch, a gentle, unhurried unfurling of your limbs. You feel the soft pull of muscles, the quiet release of any remaining stiffness as your body slowly reawakens. The crispness of the sheets against your skin, the comforting weight of the blankets as they shift. These tactile sensations ground you in the present moment, reminding you of your physical presence in this quiet, safe space. Your eyes might open, slowly adjusting to the dim light, taking in the familiar contours of your bedchamber. Now softened and muted by the pre-dawn glow, each object a silent, comforting presence. You might then gently push back the covers, feeling the cool air briefly touch your skin, a refreshing contrast to the warmth of the blankets. a subtle invitation to rise. You swing your legs over the side of the bed, feeling the cool floorboards beneath your bare feet, a solid connection to the waking world, grounding you in the present. You stand slowly, allowing your body to fully awaken, feeling the strength and serenity restored during the night, a quiet sense of renewed vitality. The very air in the room seems to welcome you back, fresh and invigorated, ready for the new dawn. As you make your way to the window, you gently pull back the heavy curtains. The first light of dawn now illuminates the world outside, transforming it into a tableau of soft, muted colors, a landscape awakening from shadow. The garden is still heavy with dew, glistening like scattered diamonds in the nascent light, each drop reflecting a tiny captured piece of the sky. The sky itself is a gentle wash of soft blues, pale pinks, and delicate golds, deepening slowly as the sun continues its ascent, painting the heavens with quiet majesty. The distant houses, previously indistinct shapes in the darkness, now emerge with soft clarity, their familiar forms a comforting sight, signifying the continuity of life. You take a deep, slow breath, filling your lungs with the fresh, cool morning air, a clean and invigorating sensation that awakens your senses. The quiet sounds of the awakening world, the sustained chorus of birdsong, now richer and more varied, the faint, distant rumble of a delivery cart on the cobblestones, a gentle echo of the world's routine. The soft rustle of leaves in a gentle breeze begin to fill the air, weaving a subtle tapestry of everyday life. This is not a jarring cacophony, but a gentle reintroduction to the world, a slow, harmonious awakening that soothes rather than startles. You might then move to your washstand, pouring fresh, cool water into the basin. The sound of the water, a gentle splash, is clear and refreshing in the quiet room. A liquid melody. You cup the water in your hands, feeling its invigorating coolness as you gently splash your face. The sensation is crisp and awakening, gently stimulating your senses, washing away the last traces of sleep. You dry your face with a soft, clean linen towel, feeling its gentle texture against your skin, completing this simple restorative ritual, a quiet preparation for the day ahead. As the sun continues its steady climb, and your home begins to stir with the very first, subtle movements of a new day, you feel a profound sense of peace and readiness. The cycle of serenity has concluded, only to begin anew. The quietude of the night has nourished you, and the gentle awakening has prepared you. You are refreshed, renewed, and ready to embrace the quiet beauty and gentle rhythms of another Victorian day. A day filled with its own unhurried moments, its own subtle joys, and its own profound tranquility. The journey into peaceful sleep is complete, and the gentle, unhurried day awaits, full of quiet promise,